Hello, sports world, and hello, sports lovers. You are now tuning in to the Rick McCoy Sports Podcast on your DPN Dream Podcast Network. And I'm your host, always and forever will be, doing the most, Franklin J. McCoy III. But you can call me Frankie. And today is Thursday, August 31st, 2023. And I haven't been online for a while, but I'm back. And sooner rather than later, we'll be recording videos from the DPN Dream Podcast Network studios. But until then, it's Car Chronicles. And that's okay. Start from the grind. Now, what do I want to talk about today? Trey Lance. Lance to make them dance. Lance to make him dance. Man, they got him the hell out of there. So he's out of San Francisco. We traded him to the Dallas Cowboys. And we got 7 first-round picks, 2 second-rounders, who saw draft day, a returner. What's his name? David Putney. We got a David Putney and a linebacker, R.I.P. Black Panther. No, we didn't. We got a 4th-round pick. We got a 4th-round pick for Patty Mahomes' little cousin. After we gave up 3 first-rounders and spent 2 or 3 years so-called developing him. That's what the 49ers did. And they gave him away because Kyle said, our number 2 is Sam Darnold, and you're going to be number 3. So, hey, Arnold, you still losing games? You're still throwing interceptions? You still stink? Yeah. Oh, that guy? He made it, even though I watched the preseason games. I didn't see all snaps, but I watched pretty much every game except for the last game. But I didn't see him pulling away like that. And if he did pull away, maybe it was just by the hairs of my chinny chin chin. But for them to say, it was he really separated himself. Separate himself from what? Being a good football player? Sam Darnold is trash. He knows he's trash. He's been on 1 million teams in 1 million years. And everybody who rooted for his teams cried 1 million tears. Now, this is what it boils down to. Sam Darnold's been in the league. So there's some guys who at practice, they just look the part. They make a couple throws. They know the logistics, the ins and outs of the daily grind of football. He's been around. He's been there. So, of course, he's going to look a little polished at practice. He's been there. He's been a starter. And he stinks. And they named him number 2 after everybody in their mama and everybody in the 49ers nation, they don't like Darnold. I don't know who does. And when I watched those preseason games, he didn't look good. He didn't look horrible, but he didn't look good. And then Trey, they're like, he starts off slow. So, one thing I've watched about Trey, and it's been consistent, is he gets better as the game goes. And I don't know, I'm just brainstorming here, but if you did have a trait in the quarterback, let's say somebody has a trait, wouldn't that be a good trait? Because in all actuality, there's 4 quarters in a game. First, second quarter, everybody looks good in the first quarter. Oh, they're fresh and until they, start getting a couple pounding. The body start banging. The fatigue sets in, and then the second half kicks in, and then that's where your will, skill, and heart comes in. And then for a player, specifically a quarterback, to get better as the game goes, Don't you want that? I'm over here sweating like 12 years a slave. Now, don't you guys want that? I don't know what the 49ers are thinking. I don't know what Banana Han is thinking. I don't know what he's thinking. So we let Trey go for a little bit of nothing. Okay? And so this is what the deal is. This is what happened, okay? Purdy played well finishing the season, those last 7 or so games. Played well. Kyle called a dumb, excuse my English and not French, because I'm not French. I'm black, Cape Verdean, Portuguese. He called a dumbass play and put a dumb blocker, and the blocker wasn't dumb. He just wasn't good. He put a blocker on one of their best defenders. He went by him, injured Purdy, and then Kyle has the nerve. From what I hear, that player is not with us anymore. He got cut. You blamed him. You blamed him. Even though the game just started. Picture this, people. The playoff game just started. We're trying to go to the Super Bowl, NFC Championship, beginning of the game. And you have an off-brand player. I don't care what position he is. Don't care who he is. But he's an off-brand. I have never heard of him. All year, I've never heard of him. I've never watched a regular season game. It's like, so-and-so made a play. He's never hardly in the game. But you had him blocking on a player that could potentially hurt Purdy. So that's Kyle's blunder. That's not the player. That's Kyle's blunder. Okay? So that's that. Now, let's take a look at Trey. Now, Purdy's our quarterback. He deserved it. He didn't do anything to say he didn't deserve it. So the 49ers wanting to name Brock Purdy a starter, excuse me, all summer long, I'm with that. I support that. I'm all for that. Okay, he played his butt off. So great job, Purdy. I'm behind you until you prove otherwise. Okay, but in fairness to Trey, I will say this: he never had a fair chance. He never had a fair chance. And this is what it is, okay? There's a couple things. First thing is, I don't understand why you invest so much in a player, you pick a player, and then you don't give him a fair chance, and then you get rid of him so fast. Especially at the quarterback position. You invested so much, and then you just get rid of him, and he didn't even play. Now, let's go through it so I can put some substance behind what I just said. They finally got over that Jimmy shit. They named Trey the starter. He played the first game of the season against the Bears in what they say is a monsoon. It was wet. It was wetter than Curry's jumper after he starts dancing. All right? It was wet. And then he lost that game in a monsoon. Got hurt the next game. Now, let me be more specific. When Trey's out there, the playbook goes as follows. This is Kyle. All right, he's looking at his notebook. Trey's in there. All right, this is what we're going to do. Goal line, I form, single back run, sweep, Quarterback option, quarterback option, quarterback option, goal line, 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 goal line. Jimmy crack corn and I don't care. Jimmy crack corn and I don't care. Run him up the middle until he breaks his hair. Now, Kyle ran him and 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 ran him. Now, not only did he run him, it was like sweeps to the outside. Be safe. Shotgun, quarterback option. I want you to run it, but act like you're not going to run it, and then I want you to be safe. It wasn't those kind of runs. It was like, I'm looking at you, Trey, but you know what? I think you're Mike Allstott. I think you're Kyle Juszczyk. I think you're Jerome Bettis. You know what? I think you're Derrick Henry. I think you're Zeke the Freak when he was freaky. Now, what do I mean by that? They ran him up the gut, and they kept running him up the gut and up the center's butt until finally pressure breaks, bust pipes, until they bust his pipes. He got hurt. I saw it coming. I'm like, damn, Kyle. Can you open up the playbook for Trey? God damn. It's almost like that old school black quarterbacks can't read a defense. Black quarterbacks don't understand. And some of you guys, oh, he's bringing the race in. Yeah, I love to do that because it's necessary. And I see it. And when it's in my face, believe it. I believe it. One thing about the 49ers, I'm a diehard 49er fan, born and raised in San Francisco, Bernal Heights neighborhood. I currently live in the Bayview Hunters Point neighborhood, which is very close to Candlestick Park, or what used to be. They blew it up, said they were going to build a mall, and now it's just a pile of dirt. Go drive by there. They like to lie. They didn't want to clean up Hunters Point, which was an area of interest for the new stadium, but in order to build in Hunters Point, you have to clean all the poisonous toxins that are under the ground that all the black people that live in the projects in Section 8 live amongst. That's why they have some of the highest rate of breast cancer, asthma, cancer, period, in San Francisco, maybe in California. But that's another story. But anyway, one thing I noticed about San Francisco 49ers, and I don't get it because we're such a progressive state and city, and we're such multicultural city, very grassroots. I don't understand it. But one thing I've noticed about San Francisco 49ers, and surprisingly, I would suspect that from the San Francisco Giants, but they had Dusty Baker for years and years. So, no. But for the 49ers, two things. I've yet to consistently, see a black coach. They had Singletary in there, and we had Alex Smith. And you know how that was going to go. He was bad, and they threw Singletary under the bus, even though, yeah, he might have not been the greatest head coach, but he didn't have a fair shake. Because the optics, the way it looked was the ownership kept forcing Alex Smith down his throat. Play him. That's our guy. We drafted him. Even though we should have had Aaron Rodgers. That's another story. I love Alex Smith, the person. He's a great dude. To me, he was not a good quarterback. He was horrible when he was with us. All those guys, I liked Alex Smith. I didn't like him. He couldn't win. And he couldn't throw past 15 yards. He got better later, but I made videos about that. But anyway, black coach, head coach. I hardly see that, San Francisco. Especially black quarterbacks. We had Kaepernick. He's black. He's black and white. I think. He's mixed. He might look Samoan. I don't know. Does anybody be knowing? But anyway, that was the last one. And you saw what happened to Cap. And they don't want to bring him back. But for some reason, I'm like, is it the black thing? Do they not want to play him? Is it because he's black? But then I'm like, well, why the hell did they draft him then? If you're not going to look at him, if you're not going to play him, why did you draft him? They said we could have had Micah Parsons. Okay. And then you're like, well, why are you saying okay? Yeah, I would have loved to have him, but we have the best defense in the league. We've had the best defense. I don't care what they say. They're smoking crack. Everybody and their mama and their mama's mama and their mamas know that for the last 3 or 4 years, we had the best defense in the league. Especially with Sherm and all them and Bosa and D Ford and all them. Whoa. And then last year, we had the best D. The year before that, 1 or 2. We had the best defense. So we got the best linebackers in the game. Okay, Micah Parsons, what is he going to do? Get us a couple extra sacks? We already do well on defense. It's the quarterback position. So, Trey, he never got a chance to play. They wouldn't play him. So we don't know what he could have been. We don't. I would have loved to have seen what Trey could have been and manifested to. They didn't give him a chance. And if you watch the tape, I love Purdy. I'm glad we have him. I'm glad he had the chance to show what he can do, and he did great. I'm not a player hater, but I am a player investigator. So when I investigate wrongdoing, I dissect it and I dive in there. All right? Now, what I will say is, soon as Trey got hurt, soon as Purdy got in, it was like I had to rub my eyes like, is Kyle really doing this? I was like, wait a minute. Where's that goal line shit? Where's that I form? Where's that single back runs? This is what I observed. As soon as Purdy got in, it wasn't like they eased him into it. They called a couple plays just to protect him because he's new. No. It was like, as soon as he took the first snap, Kyle looked at his board again and said, Purdy's in there? Who is that guy? Who is he? He's on our team. We drafted him last. Oh, he's irrelevant? Oh, okay, all right. Well, he ain't Trey. So, since he's not Trey, 5 wide, shotgun. Let's go for it. Bombs over Baghdad. Everybody, let's go deep. Let's go. Let's go. Let's put this show on the road. Let's get it crack-a-lacking. Let's put the pedal to the metal. 120 miles per hour. Let's go for it. Let's go. We got him. I'm like, God damn. Could you do that for Trey? Trey never saw the playbook that Purdy saw. And that's my only gripe. Well, 2 gripes. You didn't let him play, and when he did play, you gave him a weird playbook. And it was like a sabotage playbook. Like, you're bound to get hurt with this. This is some of my best work. Kyle's like, in his head, this is some of my best play calling to get somebody hurt. Yeah, I'm trying to get him up out of here. I really didn't want him. Well, why did you use 3 first-round picks? I don't understand. They said, well, when we drafted Trey, we thought he could bring the running element to it. And I'm like, I understand that, and I get that. My whole thing is, if I'm calling plays and I'm coaching this team, and my overall philosophy on offense is You don't necessarily have to call goal line plays, run plays for a running quarterback to, how can I say, to get the best production out of his skill set. Why can't you call the same plays that you call? Whether okay, we're going to have 4 wide receivers out, 3 wide out, and they're going to run routes. Why can't he pick and choose? And then you give him the option to say, Trey, we're trying to hit Ayuk or Debo or Kittle on this play. But if it's not open, we like when you run. Why can't he do that? That's what I was screaming for. Shotgun, spread them out, go deep, let him run now. Let him run now when the defense is backpedaling, guarding their mans. Or how about you limit the amount of goal line runs that you call for them? And so besides that, the sabotaging playbook, you called a whole different set of plays for him than you did Brock Purdy. And this is nothing against Brock Purdy. Even when I bring race into it, I think it smells of the R. Because he's a black quarterback and he didn't get a fair shake. And it was so quick. It was so quick. He never got to play. And then the bad part about it is, after all the experiences Kyle has been through losing the Super Bowl with Jimmy G as your quarterback, when you could have had Tom, but Tom made a report and said they wanted to stick with that effing guy. You could have had Tom. You could have had my man, Aaron Rodgers, the best quarterback to ever live. But he's not black. You could have had both of them. But he didn't learn. And we lost the Super Bowl because Jimmy can't hit people. I don't blame him for that long throw. I don't blame him for missing Sanders on the deep throw because I don't expect him to throw deep. He wasn't good at it anyway. But there were a lot of short throws that he missed in the Super Bowl that could have won us the game. But anyway, Kyle didn't learn from the Super Bowl. And in turn, Kyle hired Lil Wayne to perform after the Super Bowl. And Lil Wayne was like, you sure you want me to perform? I feel kind of bad. You guys lost you guys almost won that. But you paid him, he performed, and that was weird. So that performance of Lil Wayne after the Super Bowl was when I said, I'm done with Kyle. It wasn't the Brady and the Roger. We could have had them. That made me furious. So you're going to stick with Jimmy, and then look, he's with the Raiders now. So after that's all said and done, your decisions that you made, you still moved on from him. So it's like, why did you go through all that stuff just to get rid of Jimmy when you could have got rid of him a long time ago? And with that awesome defense and team that we had with Sherman and all them, we could have had a Super Bowl, an easy Super Bowl. But you had Lil Wayne performing, and I was like, I'm done with Kyle. I'm done with him. You're going to still party after losing the Super Bowl? I would be tearing up every room I'm in. I don't want to see nobody. Does it look like I want to dance? My wife come around, are you okay, baby? I'm giving her the eye. You better take your fingers off of my shoulder. You see, we just lost the Super Bowl. Did you cook today? No. I might trade you. Now, listen. But he partied. So I was done with him after that. Then he brought back Jimmy. Then when everybody got hurt, and then when he brought back Jimmy, I heard, now, I don't know if it's true or not. Maybe it's not true. But I heard Jimmy was okay enough to play in that game, but chose not to suit up or whatever the case may be. But anyway, you went into that game with Josh Johnson. And as a black man, he's from the Bay Area. So he has the Bay love. But after that game, there's no more love. I don't care if he's black. I don't care if he's Indian. I don't care if he's a minion. I am done with Josh Johnson. I wish he wasn't from the Bay Area. He better not ever play football again. That was so bad. I'm better than you. I'm looking at the camera right here. I played quarterback in high school, a little bit of Pop Warner. I am better than you. Now. I'm better than you. I could have did better than that. He came in the game and it looked like you were not even prepared. So I put that on Kyle. And people are like, well, put that on Josh Johnson. It ain't Kyle's fault. He shouldn't even been on the team. What did he look like at practice? Did he look good or did he look like that at practice? So if he did look like that at practice, why was he playing? Or better yet, you had enough time to look around and say, I could have signed somebody as a backup. Was Cam out there? You could have brought Kaepernick back. You could have signed Colt McCoy I think he was with a team. There's a bunch of other quarterbacks that could have did way better than that. So I bring that up to say this year you let Trey go because as soon as you told him we're gonna year number 3. And then as a real one should, as Trey should have said, all right, trade me then. Get me the hell up out of here. Now, instead of Kyle learning from his mistakes and saying, in his brain saying, I remember this rodeo. And for the future, I need to be prepared. I might want to keep 3 pretty good quarterbacks. So you should have found a way to keep Trey, to keep him. And if you are going to let go of him, we should have got something for him. Something good. And if it wasn't something good, then don't get rid of him. You gave up too much. And the future is undecided. Purdy could be great. Purdy could last. Or Purdy could get hurt. And that's your ass. Kyle, you are done. You are on Brock's time. So however Brock does, that's your future. So if Brock doesn't pan out, you're done. Now, I love Brock. I like him. I like his moxie. I like everything about him. Decision making. He doesn't have the strongest arm, neither did Tom. He wiggles out of trouble. But I'm not just saying this because it's something about Trey. I watched Trey. In the beginning, I'm like, they say he's a runner, but when he runs, he looks slow. He's like sluggish. But then I keep watching him during the game, and I'm like, oh, he got quicker. He got quicker. It's something about him where he starts off slow, and then he analyzes, and then he's like, yeah, I can't do that no more. Let me switch it up. And then that last game I saw him play, the preseason game this year, before he asked for the trade, he looked quick. The throws came out. He looked better than the week before. And then you name Darnold the starter, but I don't understand. Darnold does not deserve it because he still they said he's throwing picks left and right at practice. And if he's doing that, he's been in the league too long for you to let him throw picks like that and you name him number 2. If anything, he should be like flawless at practice and then be number 2. Because if he's not flawless, then let him be number 3. And let Trey be number 2. So, Trey did dirty. Trey was done dirty. Trey was, yeah. He was done dirty. Trey is like, and he looks like he's a mixture of like Jason Momoa and Albie Shore. It's like a mixture of that, mixed with some Polynesian. That's what he looks like. I'm just being funny, but wouldn't it be funny if he goes to Dallas and years down the line he pans out to be really good? Wouldn't that be funny? So in conclusion, if we don't win the Super Bowl this year, Kyle has to go. And I'm signing off. I'm your host, Frankie, and this is the Real McCoy Sports Podcast on your DPN Dream Podcast Network. And I was your host, always and forever will be, Franklin J. McCoy III. But you can call me Frankie.